George Floyd.
George Floyd.
George Floyd.
George Floyd repeatedly told the officers that he could not breathe after an officer knelt on his neck.
The family of George Floyd held a memorial in his memory.
My brother's gone, but the Floyd name still lives on.
Where does it end? Where does the bloodshed of my brothers and sisters end? Freedom is non-existent in a world where our skin is not accepted. We have no real rights because our race is rejected. Freedom is something we only but dream. Freedom is more of a value to us than it seems. Freedom is something we implore. Why do we have to beg for more? Just let us be free, not chained, handcuffed, or arrested because of our skin. Do you see what's within? Tell me, where does it end? Rights listed in the Constitution are nothing but a reference. Can you give me a reason why it is but only glanced at but not abided by? Put away the guns, the sticks, the hate, because for many of us it's already too late. Just let my brothers and sisters be free. I'll wish for it even if it condemns me. Don't let my brothers and sisters' bloodshed be in vain. No more should they be in pain. You'll find us marching through the streets yelling Black Lives Matter because we don't know where it will end. And it's funny because you didn't even know it began. It all starts with the empty dining room chair and no one to fill its place. All because daddy's gone and no one can hide the pain from their face. Please tell me where it would end, officer. Give me a good reason why you arrested her. Because Sandra Bland couldn't drive on land for 2 seconds without being taken by the man. Kimani Gray, sad to say, was shot 4 times on what he thought was just an average day. Kendrick McDane prayed, why did they shoot me, and died before receiving aid. Timothy Russell and Melissa Williams were in the car when 137 rounds were fired, each one bizarre. Irvin Jefferson, a child that still carried innocent sin, was shot down while trying to protect his kin. Allen carried 4.5 ounces of weed, no weapon, so there should have been no need to shoot him. Trayvon Martin was shot down because he was deemed to be suspicious. Zimmerman's act was so vicious. Am I next? Can you guarantee that my brother can walk down the street without being deemed suspicious as well? How can you tell? You want us to fear what you possess? Well, my man, it's intimidation of our race and nothing else. Speechless when I speak my words of knowledge. Is it because of my skin that I can't go to an Ivy League college? Where does it end? To protect and serve? You have got the nerve, because freedom is something you cannot give by hand. But you still tell me that we live in a free land? Where does it end? Arrest me now, officer, because I know you will try to one day. I know your blood must be boiling at what I have to say. I know my wrist may sting from the metal, and I know I won't go easy, so you'll have to lay my head against the hood of your car to make me settle. Let it all end, but the fight for us to be free. In this fight, I hold out my hands for whoever cares to join me. But until there is a change, I will not quiet. I will not back down at the beginning of my fight. I'm holding back the pain with all my might. So where does it end? Do not give me an excuse. Give me an answer, because I am tired of the lies. How many innocent Black women and men have to die for you to see the error of your terror, Mr. Officer? Are we wrong to speak our minds? You had to see it coming, killing off innocent as if we're blind. Because I don't want to die at the hands of a cop. I just want to know, when will it stop? That was a poem written by an online user that goes by Nesla11. That poem was written November 3rd, 2018. But yet it's still more relevant than ever nearly 2 years later. Before we fix the problem, we have to acknowledge the problem. The modern movement Black Lives Matter began after George Zimmerman shot and killed an African-American unarmed teen, Trayvon Martin, in February 2012. This resulted in the use of the hashtag Black Lives Matter all over different social media platforms. The movement expanded even more when another unarmed black man by the name of Michael Brown was shot and killed by the police. Then again, a 12-year-old playing with a toy in the park was killed by a white officer. And once again, another black man, John Crawford III, was killed in a Walmart by the police. The grand jury declined to charge the officers with any charges. The black community was tired of innocent African Americans being killed by the police, and the protests began in 2015. Police brutality is the main cause for the Black Lives Matter movement. Due to police brutality, black people are unfairly discriminated against in the justice system, and this is something that needs to change. Black people being killed by the police comes as no surprise since the policing in the U.S. were put into place to prevent slaves from running. Police brutality is one of many ways in which black people are oppressed solely based off their skin color. Being black makes you more likely to be arrested, pulled over, and questioned. According to several studies, black people are 3 times more likely to be killed by the police than white people, and 1.3 times more likely to be unarmed compared to white people. In order to see a change in police brutality, firstly, I believe the police system needs to be reconstructed. Police culture is currently disgraceful. According to an article written by Stephanie Pappas, a Live Science contributor, training is often cited to reduce racial bias among police officers and encourage de-escalation. Some training methods have evidence to back them up. I agree with Stephanie Pappas on the need to reinforce police training and overall police culture. As I stated before, police originated from slavery as a tactic to stop enslaved Africans from escaping, and I believe the culture has yet to change. This brutality is an ongoing issue that needs to change. Many have lost trust in the police, and some have even become scared of them. In addition to new training for these officers, I also believe officers need to be held accountable for their actions to see a change. Any officer that partakes in police brutality, which is defined by the unwarranted or excessive and often illegal use of force against civilians, needs to be fired immediately. By holding these police officers accountable, I believe it will make other police officers more conscious of their actions and how they are handling situations. With the help of the Black Lives Matter movement, George Floyd's murderers were arrested and charged. However, this is not the case for over half of other cases. By these officers not being held accountable and being left on the force, we are promoting them to continue this misconduct. Innocent African Americans are dying in the hands of police officers 3 times more than their white peers, and that is not okay. While we still have many steps to take, the Black Lives Matter movement is a perfect way to start. With the help of new training for these police officers and these officers being held accountable, I think we could see a change. Black Lives Matter, and it's not debatable.
That's right, Daddy changed the world.
Wait, we don't. He did what?
That changed the world.
Daddy changed the world.
He did what?